Jaya Vraja-dhama Ranjana. Yashodanandana. Jaya Vraja-dhama Ranjana. Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jaya Radha Shama Sundar, Radha Shama Sundar, Radha Shama Sundar, Shri Radhe. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada ki. Radha Shama Sundar. Omajnanatunandasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshunamritam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nivishesha Shrinivari Praskute Shatanane. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare Ram 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so we're reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 25, The Characteristics of King Puranjana. We're reading from text 48. Is this better? Okay. Nalini cha prag Dwaravekatra nirmite Avaduta shaktastabhyam Vashayam yati surabhyam Nalini cha prag Dvarav ekatra nirmite Avadutta shaktastabhyam Vashayam yati saurabham Nalini cha prag Dvarav ekatra nirmite Avadutta sakastabhyam Vashayam yati saurabham Nalini chapra Nalini nirmite Avadutta sakastabhyam Vishayam yati saurabham Nalini chapra Dvarakatra nirmite Avadutta sakastabhyam Vishayam yati saurabham Nalini chapra Dvaravekatra nirmite Nitabhyam Vishayam yati saurabham Nalini chapra Dvaravekatra nirmite Avadutta sakastabhyam Vishayam yati saurabham Nalini. Of the name Nalini. Nalini. Of the name Nalini. Cha. Also. Prak. Eastern. Dwara. Two gates. Ekatra. In one place. Nirmite. Constructed. Avadutta. Of the name Avadutta. Sakha. With his friend. Tabhyam. By those two gates. Vishayam. Place. Yati. Used to go. Surabham. Of the name Surabha. Translation. Similarly, in the eastern gate, there were two sets of gates named Nalini and Nalini, and these were also constructed in one place. Through these gates, the king, accompanied by a friend named Avadutta, used to go to the city of Saurabha. Okay, please repeat. Similarly, in the east, there were two sets of gates named Nalini and Nalini, and these were also constructed in one place. Through these gates, the king, accompanied by a friend named Avadutta, used to go to the city of Saurabha. Srila Prabhupada's purport. The two gates, named Nalini and Nalini, are the two nostrils. The living entity enjoys these two gates with the help of different avaduttas, or heirs. Shri Shri Lakshmi Simhadev Bhagavan Ki Jai. Or heirs, which constitute the breathing process. Through these gates, the living entity goes to the town of Saurabha, or aroma. In other words, the nostrils, with the help of their friend, the air, enjoy various aromas in the material world. Nalini and Nalini are the pipes of the nostrils, through which one inhales and exhales, enjoying the aroma of sense pleasure. Okay. So the Srimad Bhagavatam, it's teaching us transcendental science, and it's not only for us to learn everything within this world, this universe, but also knowing who created it and our relationship with Him. It develops in 9 cantos and ultimately brings us to the state of the highest realization, the highest state of being, Krishna consciousness or God realization. It's the most complete and authoritative literature on the subject matter. So this morning we can dive into it and use this knowledge in that way. So what's going on in the Srimad Bhagavatam at the moment? I thought I'd start by orientating ourselves. So this is a conversation between Narada Muni and King Parikshit. I can never say his name. Parikshit. And he's telling an allegorical story of King Puranjana to him. This king, he's entangled in the Karmakanda rituals, and he's seeking some guidance from Narada Muni, and in a humble way he asks him to please instruct him on some transcendental science. So this allegorical story, it's something that we can take lessons from. It's a story about a conditioned soul who's entangled in the material world, entangled in the false conception that he is this body, and entangled in using his intelligence in the wrong way. So we can learn from this and how to employ our intelligence in the right way, and use it to achieve this state of God consciousness. So as devotees, we hear these stories about this knowledge to detach ourselves from this false conception, from the material intelligence. However, as devotees, our aim is not to have this complete false detachment from matter, but learn how to use it in the right way and know where it came from, or knows whose it is and how to use it. So we're not following this yogic process of falsely negating our senses, and we're actually trying to learn how to use them in the right way. So Srila Prabhupada, he preaches these concepts of our eternal relationship with God as a personal relationship, the eternal soul, the material world, and life's ultimate goal and the means to attain it. So we must hear and read every day about this from the Srimad Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, other books. Know the process, and know the goal, and learn how to use them in that way. So from this verse, we hear about these gates, Nalini and Nalini. And from the purport, Srila Prabhupada explains that these are the nostrils. In the previous verse, we've heard about the gates of the eyes, and now we're hearing about the nostrils. King Puranjana, he is representing the human body. We've heard in previous classes that the word Pura means city, and Jana means the dweller of the city. So this is the conditioned soul situated within the material body. And we were also hearing that he's King Puranjana. He has a friend, a female friend called Puranjani, and this is his material intelligence. And this material intelligence, it is keeping him entrapped in this this false conception that he is the master, the enjoyer, and how using his intelligence in the way to enjoy his senses. So by nature, the soul, he's not the enjoyer, he's not the controller. He's actually always the controlled, he's always the enjoyed. And the soul, without using his intelligence in that way, he's naturally going to suffer, because the soul by nature is eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. And without using the soul's intelligence in that way, he cannot be happy in this world that is by nature asat, is temporary, and he is not living in harmony with its true nature. So we can learn from this verse in this way. So the nose. The nose, its purpose is to gain knowledge through the sense perception of smell, of aroma. Nalini means flower, and Nalini means one that has a stalk. And flowers often depicts and represents aroma, smell. This is its primary function, one of the functions. And this word avaduta, saktas, it means with one who easily makes friends just as a breeze flows. So we can assimilate that this means like the air. So that the nose, it requires both the air and the aroma. It requires the help of demigods to experience this sense of smell. And I was thinking how to link everything together, and this air, there's obviously, it's one of Krishna's divine energies, maybe of the inferior nature, of the inferior energies, but nonetheless, situated within our bodies as pranavayu. And I was listening to one of Guru Maharaj, Sri Ram Maharaj's lectures on the 28 gurus, and one of these gurus is the air. Pranavayu is situated in the body, and he says that we can learn from it that it's satisfied with maintaining the body and keeping us alive. And it doesn't have to be unnecessarily entangled with, unnecessarily entangled. So we can learn that we don't have to unnecessarily endeavor to gratify our own senses, and just use them as we're supposed to. And we have this knowledge of how to use our senses, how to control our mind and senses from Srila Rupa Goswami. He gives us the Upadeshamrita, and lessons are how we can control our mind and senses. Without learning how to control our mind and senses, Srila Prabhupada writes in his commentary that, it's in the introduction, that there's no question of spiritual life. So our first duty is to have knowledge about our senses, how they work, and how we can use them to control our mind. Everyone within this material world, they are engrossed, entangled in the modes of passion and ignorance, And we must learn how to rise up to the mode of goodness. And from this mode of goodness, then this is when the transcendental knowledge can be assimilated, real knowledge can develop. So we must learn how to take shelter of Srila Rupa Goswami's instructions. Otherwise, we're going to struggle very hard with our mind and senses. Srila Prabhupada also says in his purports that it takes a lot of determination and practice to be able to do this. And when we have knowledge of why we need this determination, then we can probably be correctly situated in our ultimate destination. The next instruction also gives us instructions on how we can purify our activities, starting from the more gross activities and ultimately trying to purify the more subtle activities of the mind. And this is important because Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita that whatever state of being one thinks about when he leaves this body, this is the destination that he will take in his next life. So the purpose of being able to control our mind, our senses, is to always remember Krishna. And in this way, in our next life, we'll be able to engage in his service, which is the ultimate purpose, the ultimate perfection of the living soul's eternal identity. I'm not sure if that makes sense. So we should always be conscious of how we're using our senses, how we're using them to remember Krishna, to gain knowledge of him. So with our nose, we can remember him by smelling the flowers that are offered to him, by incense, by prasadam, by in the pujari, if you're able to smell his bathing water. Not only purifies our senses, but also reminds us of how beautiful and how he is a reservoir of all pleasure. And Srila Prabhupada, he's given us this knowledge, this gift, not only for us to learn ourselves how to perfect our own lives, but also being able to give this gift to others and inspire others to read his books, to chant, which is the essence and the life of Krishna consciousness, the hearing process, chanting, and remembering. And the Srimad Bhagavatam, its ultimate conclusion is that we should purify our consciousness, and the best means to do that is by chanting and by reading about Krishna's pastimes. And in this way, we can learn how to be happy within this material world for now. And Lord Chaitanya, he's come here to deliver this knowledge, the science of Krishna, to the souls of Kali Yuga, and we can be instruments in his service to bring others to the lotus feet of Vraja-dhama here also. Srila Prabhupada taught us how to live for Krishna, and this is what we should aspire to be thinking every day. The Srimad Bhagavatam, it's our compass every day. We should be hearing. In this way, it's our compass. We can adjust every morning our aims, make sure that our determination is resolute in purpose. Because even just with one little degree of the compass, if we're not following it, we're gonna go the wrong way. So we can learn to take shelter of the Srimad Bhagavatam and its messages. I haven't got so much else to say. Does anyone have any questions or reflections? Mm-hmm. To remember. Well, I'm not sure it's my favorite one, but I think just reading about Krishna's pastimes, ultimately we hear how sweet they are. One of the stories I was reading yesterday was about the stealing of the cows of this, was it? I can't remember the title. The stealing of the calves, and Krishna he's got his little lunch bag, and we hear that he's always in and out playing with demons, killing them, and for me, just remembering the sweetness of how he plays is, well, we hear about the sweetness of how he plays as a little child. So I was just reading about how he's on a picnic with the cowherd boys. He's got a little pat lunch, and I think that was one story that comes to my mind when I'm remembering. But does anyone else have any questions or comments, reflections, corrections?
Thank you so much for the class.
Mm-hmm.
For me, the smell is a real special topic.
Mm-hmm.
I have quite sensitive nose, so smell is really important for me. And there are certain smells that is referring to Krishna's smell. And there's a mix of camphor and other things, and I always stumble upon that. Okay, camphor. I don't like camphor. I don't like that smell. I really hope Krishna smell. That's a mix of camphor. Sorry, they cannot hear. Oh, and is it because my senses are impure, or it's just my perception of certain smells that I don't like and I don't want to associate that with Krishna? What can I do with this? I don't like camphor.
What an interesting question. What comes to my mind is that because the soul is under the influence of the modes of material nature, and is not able to perceive things as they are in this state. So, I'm not okay. I'm just going to start this again. I don't know where I'm going with this. I don't know. Anyone else want to just share?
Maybe the example is not very appropriate, but one of the days we had prasadam, lunch prasadam, and there is a mataji who doesn't like pumpkin, and there was a lot of pumpkin inside, but it was so delicious that we couldn't even feel the taste of the pumpkin. It was like cream, or I don't know. So I think when we say that Krishna has a smell, camphor and other aguru and five things, I don't remember exactly them. So it's not the same as the camphor. So it's a mixture of different things. So it's not the same. And there is a story that I really like. It's in the Venu Gita. That when Krishna is in Gokula, and Mother Yashoda is taking his clothes off, and he just puts them on the ground. And then the earth, when the clothes touches her, then she just like this. All the smell of Krishna goes into the earth, and when she feels it, then she starts to feel ecstatic, and starts trembling. And when she does that, then all the smell goes out from her body and goes inside of the flowers and the trees, and that's why all the flowers and trees and whatever we can feel in the world, it comes from Krishna actually. So maybe you don't like the smell of the camphor, but it's all in the flowers and everything, and I'm sure that you like the flowers, the smell of the flowers, so you like Krishna's smell. So it's I think it's not a problem. That is my understanding of this.
Just something came to my mind when first time I came to Krishna Valley, maybe 20 years ago. There was a big feast, maybe on Janmashtami, and the first preparation was shukta, and that was the first time when I tasted shukta, and I said, "What's that? This is so terrible!" And another devotee told me that, but Krishna loves this. Krishna has such a terrible taste. How can he eat this? And now shukta is my favorite. So after time, I changed. So who knows? And maybe the original, what was that? That smell? Camphor. Maybe the original camphor is not the same, like the camphor now in Kali Yuga. Who knows? Because all the flowers and everything is not so good quality now in the Kali Yuga. In another yugas, all the fruits were bigger and more tasty. And maybe this camphor is not the same camphor, and also our taste is also changing. So when we came to Krishna consciousness, we loved so many things. Like I love the music of doors. Now I can't hear. This is so terrible. But 25 years ago, I loved that music. But shukta was terrible for me, and now this is my favorite.
So what comes to my mind yesterday I started listening to a seminar of Vraja-dhama Prabhu named The Mind and the Holy Name. And here he started to explain how the mind is our worst enemy. And it is due to our mind that we think we have many enemies and friends. Like, oh, this I like this smell I like, this smell I don't like. So it's due to our mind that we think, oh, this I like, this I don't like. But actually everything is Krishna, so everything we should be attracted to. But it is only due to our mind, which is our only enemy, that we think we have many friends and enemies. So it is due to our lack of, or the control of our mind, that we think, this smell smells nice, this taste is nice, this taste is not nice. But it's only due to a lack of our mind, or lack of our control of our mind. That was all.
I think also these external ways that help us remember Krishna, whether it's using our senses, taking prasadam, or smelling flowers, incense, is to help us become attracted to chanting, to the chanting. We hear that Krishna's name is no different from him, and by engaging our senses in this way, then it enables us to want to be able to taste the same pleasure within our chanting, because we hear ultimately that it's a quality of our chanting that is the most important thing. We should always be chanting. We hear the importance, the glories of chanting the holy name. So maybe the camphor, maybe it's not so important, but or you're feeling and experiencing when you're chanting, I think that's the most important thing.
Thank you.
I'm not sure what the time is. Okay, we have 9 minutes if there's anything else. So my class is a little bit short and sweet.
Hare Krishna. Thank you for your nice class. So I do service in the Goshala, and sometimes I have to clean these drainages. And when I open them, and then you take this stuff out, then you see the first. This looks like spaghetti bolognese, and it smells like spaghetti bolognese. And I like to eat that many years ago, but now I just think, okay, let's just clean it and throw it away. and also. I mean, this is the smell when I was working in the military, and sometimes I had to bring some letters to the chief of the base, and he had a secretary, and she was overusing Chanel No. 5, and it was before you enter into the room, you take a deep breath and you just hold on your breath and you bring in the letters and you get out, and here it's like such a difference when you cannot wait when the pujari pushes the button until the fragrance comes to you. Oh, so nice. So it makes like such a difference to have the senses purified and things which you might like before, just they become uninteresting. They should become uninteresting, let's say it like this, after a while.
Just in regards to that, everything is Krishna, or we would need to see everything in connection to Krishna. Still, there are certain fragrances that are related with Krishna. So the Bhagavatam never says that Krishna smell is like a pig farm. So it's not that everything is Krishna in that sense. So we have to properly perceive the right things, and also in regards to when you said when we wait for the pujari to push the button on the how do you call that in English? Perfume. Thank you. There is also always a how to say that? An amount of the things, as you said, the Channel 5 and the secretary, there is an amount that is bearable. And just like when in the morning when we are singing in front of Lakshmani Simhadev and you're close to the pujari and the pujari turns to you and pushes the thing and you're singing, it's like the amount is just too much that you cannot sing anymore. So there's always an amount of things also. Yeah, smell is a really interesting thing, especially when Srila Prabhupada is speaking about the life air in the body, and breathing is such an important exercise in yoga. And in so many other ways, it's like, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. But thank you so much, and thank you for all the comments in regards to smell. Thank you.
So maybe today we can be conscious of how we're using our sense of smell, how we can use it to remember Krishna. Maybe this is the message from today's class. So I think we'll end here. Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gauda Bhaktavinoda ki jai.
Okay.